Hello, welcome into the Spiritual Evolution Podcast. My name is Brian Doyle, and today I want to talk to you about some different impulses that we all need to recognize in the world. And first of all, I want to say thank you for all my new subscribers. This is a brand new channel, and I interviewed James Tunney. I want to also thank him. That interview has almost 1,000 views, which is really cool to see. So appreciate all you guys watching that video, liking it, and subscribing to my channel, and to put your trust into me to potentially guide you on your own path of spiritual evolution. Some of these impulses I want to discuss are, um, first of all, they're, in my opinion, the most important things that we need to recognize and that we need to move ourselves towards in the future. Um, and it's hard nowadays because everything is online. And so there's no village square, if you will, or town square. The town square is now social media. And because of this, we sometimes feel socially isolated. And I don't like that. I don't want you to feel isolated. I want you to feel like we are communicating through YouTube, I guess. And if you want to comment on this video, um, I will try to respond because I think that it's it's important that we form community, and it's potentially a goal of mine to create a community based on this YouTube channel. Because yes, there are online communities, but are there more intimate online communities? Maybe people who are meeting and discussing things on Zoom or on in person, um, maybe a conference, maybe a get together, things of this nature. Um, I think are important nowadays. And it's something that I am also striving towards myself. I feel the same way that you might feel if you feel that way right now. So, some of these things that we need to focus on for the future is one, an impulse of brotherhood. I can't find peace unless the person next to me is happy. That is something that we need to recognize in our day to day life. And we need to strive towards it. Put ourselves in more situations that we can have empathy towards our fellow brothers and sisters. If we can do that, we can evolve spiritually. And we need the collective to evolve spiritually with us. And we need the collective to, at least a portion, to evolve for the world evolution to continue as well. We also want to, number two, try to see in each man or woman a hidden divinity in everyone. You want to be able to see the spirit within everyone you come across. And this is important because in today's day and age, a lot of the education that we get in school or through work trainings has to do with the opposite of this, right? This is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And actually, in the Upanishads, it mentions how bad the term diversity actually is. This is an ancient Hindu uh, text that I recommend if you have not picked that up to potentially look at that. It's the Upanishads. And this is an issue because this education seeks to break us apart. It seeks to have us identify with certain material parts of ourselves, such as the color of our skin, such as our gender, such as our sexual orientation, such as our economic status, such as our height, potentially. So these are all things that are being used to divide us. And I think that really it's not working. And the reason it's not working is because in all reality, we are all the same and we all come from the one creator, God. And if we can find it within ourselves to seek out the likeness within everyone we come across, the spirit within them that is connected to the spirit that's within us. We all have a drop of that divinity within us. And we need to find it in each person we come across. The next thing, every meeting between man and woman should be a religious rite, a sacrament, and part of the religious life that we all live. There needs to be complete freedom in religious life. And so when you talk about being a strict follower of a certain religion, I think that it's only negative if you cannot take another aspect of a different stream of religion and you can look at it objectively and you can learn something from it. If you can't do that, then you are sort of following a dogma, as it would be called. And you're following, potentially a church. I understand that I'm personally from a Catholic background, which a lot of people are. I'm sure there are some of you who are part of the Catholic background, and you may have thought, oh, I'm going to turn this off right now because he's saying this. But if you could find it within your heart and find it within Christ consciousness that we are all the same, no matter our dogma or etc. religions, then you can truly understand what Christianity is all about. And so we're all, as a collective, moving towards more and more of a Christ consciousness, Christianity consciousness. And so, you don't have to necessarily believe you in these things, um, but these impulses are important regardless. And we need to be able to have a free religious life. And so you may find that what you're following is working for you, and that's okay. And I respect that. But make sure that you respect other people as well for their beliefs or for their freedoms to worship as they will. But the most important thing is that your religion should come into your every interaction that you have with people. We also need to make it possible to reach the spirit through thinking. And this is something where You can study spiritual science by Rudolf Steiner. Um, some people may think, oh, well, spiritual science or anthroposophy is um, maybe it's too complicated, or maybe it's too far from what I believe, so it's scary. Um, it does take a little bit of a radical mindset in today's world to jump into spiritual science, and I understand that. And I kind of went into it already having a radical mindset, and sort of in the meaning of radical, as in like I was just searching like mad for something that was true, something that was just to my core true, what I believe of not necessarily what I would believe with like a scientific background or anything, but just what I could feel and sort of know in my heart is true. And so it's really important to study spiritual science. And you know I wouldn't even really recommend going into too much in terms of the far reaching paths um that Rudolf Steiner goes into. You don't have to do that. um for me, I probably jumped too quickly into those types of things. So what I would recommend is a few different books. I would recommend Philosophy of Freedom, Theosophy, and Knowledge of Higher Worlds. Specifically those three. But definitely the first two being number one, Philosophy of Freedom, and number two, Theosophy. Philosophy of Freedom is teaching you how to think with your will. It's really thinking about thinking. It's sort of a meta concept, but when you're actually thinking about thinking, you are truly alive within the present moment. And it's a little bit difficult to explain, but um, those are the two I would recommend to start. And Theosophy is more like the study of the human being, um, in terms of the different aspects of the human being. You could call this metaphysics, and you could call Philosophy of Freedom more philosophy. And a few other important things, at least one more important thing that I will add actually, is just making sure that we're taking interest in the smallest possible things in our life. Um, and really, the only way to do this is to be gentle and slow and methodical, and to be patient, um, and just to recognize the impact that these small things could be making in your life. And I guess I would also say not to let events of the world pass you by. We have to be watching, um, as witnesses for these different events, and trying to understand how these events play into world evolution and spiritual human evolution. And so we are evolving as spirits, and we need to be moving towards the impulse of brotherhood. And this is the impulse that in the future will be front and center, and we will know what that impulse is. And that is when we walk by a homeless person, we will feel their pain in the fullest sense of the word pain. We will understand it from our inner selves. And so the more we can very much patiently understand that in today's day and age, we still have time to understand these concepts and to look for them in our daily lives in the small events that usually pass us by. Have a good rest of your day, and thanks for watching.